Octopuses are seriously fascinating, right? With their wild looks and crazy smarts, there's so much to love about them. Even though we think we know a lot, scientists are still uncovering mind-blowing facts about these creatures. So let's dive in and check out totally insane facts about octopus anatomy. Octopuses have 3 hearts. Most animals have one heart that pumps blood around their bodies, but not octopuses. These guys have 3 hearts. 2 of them work together to pump blood to the gills where it picks up oxygen, and then the 3rd heart pumps the now oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. But why do they need 2 hearts for their gills? Well, because their gills are pretty far away from their central body, so 2 hearts help make sure that the blood gets there quickly enough. Their blood is blue. Now, this isn't true for all octopuses, but many of them have blue blood, and there's a pretty good reason for this. Instead of iron, which is what we have in our red blood cells, octopuses have a copper-based molecule called hemocyanin in their blood. This allows them to survive in low-oxygen environments, like deep-sea waters where sunlight can't penetrate, by helping transport oxygen throughout their bodies more efficiently. Hemocyanin also gives their blood a lovely shade of blue. Each of their 8 arms has its own mini-brain. This may sound unbelievable, but it's true. Each of an octopus's arms has a small cluster of neurons that allows it to act semi-independently of the others. This means that if one of their arms gets bitten off, the octopus can still move around with the rest of its arms while the detached one rides around on its own. In fact, if a predator tries to eat an octopus by grabbing onto one of its arms, the octopus can actually decide to drop that arm in order to escape, leaving the predator with nothing but an arm to eat. And that arm will continue moving even after it's been detached. Can you imagine getting bitten by an arm and running away from it as it squirms around on the ground, trying to get away from the danger? Well, that's something that happens to the crabs that octopuses like to eat. And the octopuses don't even have to be fully grown adults to do this. Baby octopuses just 2 weeks old have been observed dropping their arms to escape from crab claws. They have no bones. One of the most remarkable things about an octopus's anatomy is that it has no bones at all. Its skeleton is completely made out of soft tissue. This allows them to squeeze through unbelievably tight spaces, like holes smaller than the width of a coin. If octopuses had bones, they wouldn't be able to do this. That's just physics. It would be impossible. Their boneless bodies also allow them to travel incredibly long distances. For example, in 2015, an octopus was tracked swimming more than 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean in just 4 months. And octopuses aren't great swimmers, so that's really impressive. Enjoying the video? Make sure to subscribe. Chameleons change color thanks to special skin cells called chromatophores. Chromatophores contain pigment, and when the chameleon wants to change color, it expands or contracts the pigment sacs, making the color either more or less visible. And octopuses have chromatophores, too. But unlike chameleons, who only have a few colors they can switch between, octopuses can switch between hundreds of colors and patterns in a matter of seconds. Their skin can go from smooth to bumpy or slimy to scaly, depending on what it needs to look like at the time. This is useful for camouflage, but it's also important for communicating with other octopuses. Different colors and textures can show submission, aggression, excitement, fear, or readiness to mate. And like chameleons, they can also expand and contract their pigment sacs to reveal different colors. But octopuses have another trick up their sleeves. They also have papillae, which are tiny little bumps on their skin. And by controlling how raised or lowered those are, they can change how their skin looks and feels. So basically, an octopus can change its skin color and texture in response to its environment. And it does this by controlling the pigment in its skin, as well as the tiny bumps on its surface. Octopuses are super smart. We already know that octopuses are smart, like seriously smart. They can solve puzzles, open jars, and even use tools. Like they've been observed using coconut shells as portable shelters that they carry around with them. And they're also capable of recognizing themselves in mirrors, something that most animals can't do. And it's not just that they're smart. Octopuses are also super curious and have been known to investigate anything new that enters their territory. In one experiment, they were given a box with a sliding door and a piece of food inside. The door would slide open whenever the octopus pulled on a string, and the octopus quickly learned to pull the string to get the food. Underneath their arms is a parrot-like beak. Maybe you've seen pictures of an octopus's beak before, but let's take a moment to appreciate how weird it really is. First of all, It's not just one beak. It's actually two beaks fused together, kind of like how turtle shells are made up of lots of little plates fused together. But instead of being used for protection, this beak is used for eating. And it's strong enough to crack open hard shells like those of crabs and clams, which are some of the octopus's favorite foods. But since the rest of the octopus's body is made entirely of soft tissue, it makes sense that they need something hard to protect their mouths. Otherwise, they could easily get their jaws or throats crushed when they try to eat their prey. And speaking of beaks, octopuses have been observed using rocks to crack open particularly tough shells. They pick up a rock in one of their arms and hit the shell with it until it cracks. Then they use their beaks to finish the job. Octopuses are also capable of using tools. They've been observed picking up shells and using them to carry prey back to their den or carrying around coconut shells for protection. In fact, in one study, an octopus was observed using a rock as a hammer to smash open a nut. It picked the nut up with one of its arms and then used its other arms to hold the rock steady while it smashed the nut with its beak. That's some serious strength and smarts right there. They can detach an arm to escape predators. We already mentioned that baby octopuses can drop an arm to escape from a crab claw, but adult octopuses can do it, too. They can drop any of their 8 arms to escape from a predator, and the arm will continue writhing around on its own. And this isn't just an instinct. The octopus actually controls which arm it drops, and can choose to drop any of them. So why do they do this? Well, it's probably to escape from predators. And it seems to work pretty well, too. Since the detached arm is still moving and wiggling around, it may distract the predator long enough for the octopus to get away. And to add to the weirdness of this ability, the octopus doesn't even need to be attacked to drop an arm. They can do it voluntarily. Scientists aren't exactly sure why they would want to do this, but it may be to confuse predators or to escape from something like a fishing net. Their life cycle is short and sweet. An octopus's life cycle is short and sweet, but it's also kind of sad. After a female octopus has mated, she will lay her eggs and then die. Male octopuses, on the other hand, don't usually live long enough to see their offspring. They usually die within a year or 2 of reaching sexual maturity. But female octopuses can live for up to 5 years after laying their eggs. However, even though they can live for a long time, they spend most of their energy on reproduction. That means that most of their lives are spent growing bigger and fatter so that they can produce more eggs. And as soon as they start laying eggs, they stop eating and basically just hang out until they die. Their entire life cycle is focused around one thing: passing on their genes. Despite their alien-like appearance, octopuses are among the most advanced and mysterious invertebrates on Earth. They're incredibly intelligent, able to solve puzzles and open jars. They have 3 hearts and blue blood. Their skin can change color and texture in a matter of seconds. They can detach an arm to escape predators, and they have a short but complex life cycle. Octopuses are truly fascinating creatures, and we're still learning new things about them all the time. Who knows what other crazy things we'll discover about these amazing animals in the future. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos and leave a like and subscribe if you're new.